back here once again, everyone. I decided to take a look at the two movies that I previously said I was going to look at, which is Black Adam and Black Panther, One Wakanda Forever. So let me do my review for Black Adam here. Now, this movie I found somewhat confusing, and I will explain why as I go along. Now, the basis of how the movie begins, I'm sure by now most of you have probably seen it, or if you haven't seen it, if anything, but this is my review for it, and there are some spoilers in here, so just be warned about that. Now, it begins about 2600 BC in Kandak, right? And this is typical with what happens in Black Adam's origin mostly. So it's pretty much simple thing as we get here. They made some changes that seem to be problematic also. And now we basically have evil tyrannical king, wants dark power, enslaves his people to dig for rare metal so he could make some evil crown that would make him all powerful. It have this slave boy who is he's somewhat fearless and doesn't want to bow down to the king and all of this thing. His name is Harut, and he stands up and tries to lead a revolution against the king, and then basically does him holding up his hands, some kind of sign thing, and a revolution and whatnot. So the king decides to have him executed. Right as he's about to be executed, however, he vanishes, and it turns out he's taken to the Council of Wizards, who give him all the powers that that normally get with, and transforms him into Kandak's heroic champion who kills the evil king, and that ends his reign. And then the story goes that he disappears. Okay. Flash forward to the present day now, and Kandak is being oppressed by Intergang, and right there is one of the problems it starts off with, because Intergang is a crime syndicate, yet somehow they have advanced weaponry, hover bikes, all kind of thing, a bunch of people, and you have to wonder why none of the other international agencies are doing anything to stop them. I mean, Intergang usually operates out of Metropolis, but for some reason they're doing this. So of course, in comes the heroic archaeologist woman in Adriana Thomas, right? And she is looking for the crown of Sabak, because apparently Intergang is also looking for it, which is the evil crown that the king wanted to make, right? So she, along with her brother and two colleagues, Samir and Ishmael, and then we get introduced to Adriana's son, right, Amon, and oh my God, that child was annoying, boy. That boy was annoying from start to finish. It like they threw him in there because they had this bright idea that they wanted to have this little teenage, or should I say, teenage sidekick in there who would be just all talking about heroes and all kind of thing, but it didn't work. It did not work at all. He just came off as exceptionally annoying. So as with everything, I don't know how it usually goes, they go to find the tomb where the crown is. Turns out that one of the people who's with them, Ishmael, is a part of Intergang, and apparently he's the leader of it. So Intergang show up, they want the crown, they're going to kill Adriana and her brother and all of that. So she reads this inscription. That is this kind of inscription, sort of incantation thing, and it awakens Death Adam. And then we see Rock there, and okay, it's funny, and I could understand why people, or should I say why some fans would like it, because it is cool and it is nice to see Rock, they're shooting at him, bullets bouncing off of him, he's zipping around, destroying stuff and all of this thing. But therein also comes the problem as well, because they were attempting to make I don't know, they were attempting to try and do this thing where they were looking to kind of make, Black Adam into this kind of anti-hero, not sure what he wants to be, but he's not a hero, but he's doing heroic things, and it didn't fit. Because yes, you see him destroying Intergang and the stuff and what that and the other, and it's cool to look at that and all of that, but Death Adam started off, well, he's pretty much, to me, always kind of been a villain. He's a villain. That's what it is. And I said this before, I'll say it again. If you have Black Adam without Shazam or Captain Marvel, I want to say, well, let's say Captain Marvel, because they say the name and they turn back, but let's say Captain Marvel. If you have Black Adam without Captain Marvel, something is missing there. Because that conflict between them is kind of essential if you want to do an introduction story to Black Adam. Because they're both magically powerful beings who have pretty much the exact same powers. And if you don't have them playing off of each other, something is lost in the movie. So he goes around tearing apart Intergang, and they're playing all this music and stuff and one and the other, and it's in slow motion, and it does really look good and cool at certain times. Sometimes it does look kind of stupid, but most of the time, I would say 95% of the time, it looks really cool. Like when they shoot rockets and he catches it, or he's moving so fast and he's just doing it. It's sort of what you would expect would happen if you see Superman doing it. That's kind of a go at it and stuff. So it's there, right? Now they end up shooting them with this the same kind of material that the crown is made out of, and apparently that kind of damages it because it has some magical properties to it and whatnot. So Amanda Waller calls the Justice Society. There's no introduction to the Justice Society, no build up to the Justice Society, no letting us know what's going on with the Justice Society. We're just supposed to accept that there is a Justice Society. We've never heard about them or anything before at all. And she calls Hawkman of the Justice Society. Once again, we get no background on Hawkman or anything. All we know is that he's black, he's very rich, and he has a jet, and he apparently has a kind of hawk-like suit thing made out of nth metal, and that's we get Hawkman. Then we get Dr. Fate, and I actually like seeing Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. He was good in the role and stuff and the other, but he didn't do enough magical stuff to really, warrant Dr. Fate's status in my regard. He didn't do enough to warrant that. We also get Cyclone, and yes, while it's very nice and pretty to see her spinning around and doing things, if that's really all you're doing, then you're not really contributing much to things. Yes, you could. Yes, you have. You need to use your powers in some pretty unique and interesting ways. You have the ability to control wind, and you spin around, and it's very colorful and all of that, but there's not much essence to it, and that's kind of the dung part of it. Then we get Atom Smasher. Now, anybody who could make themselves like, giant, you would expect to see them doing giant things. And apart from stumbling around and crashing into things, and then at one point just, punching Black Adam straight into the ground, very little he does, other than just try to swing around some stuff, throw some things, protect some people. Again, you need some creativity in the way you use your powers. So the Justice Society comes out of nowhere, but again, I say, knowing the Justice Society in comics, I actually like the Justice Society, but this build-up didn't give us anything at all. They're supposed to accept that the Justice Society is there. So they go to Kanda, and they decide that they're going to stop Black Adam out of nowhere. Then fight ensues between him and Hawkman and Fate and Cyclone and Atom Smasher. Meanwhile, while all that is going on, the same Ishmael guy who working for Intergang goes after Adriana's son Amon because he has the crown and he's hiding from him. And again, I say the child is just really annoying. He keeps trying to try and they actually try to play it in a more annoying way, but sort of like how in Terminator 2, when you had John Connor as a boy who was trying to teach Terminator, like, catchphrases and things and tell him that he could do together. It plays like that, but it doesn't work. Again, as I say, Black Adam is a villain. He starts off that way, and you're not doing that. So when you're trying to make him into a hero, he doesn't want to be a hero. You're making him act like he's not a hero, but you're still trying to push that he's a hero, and you're still hoping that eventually everybody just would accept that he's some kind of anti-hero. It doesn't work. It's very confusing. So after they go through their whole fighting out of nowhere, Intergang kidnaps the annoying little boy. Black Adam chases after them through the streets, flying around because they have their hover bikes thing and ripping things off and throwing people and killing. And it's funny parts in the movie when you see like Hawkman telling him that he can't go around killing people and stuff, and that's not what heroes do, and he doesn't want to hear it. And then of course we have to bring in the whole thing, but in this part it does make sense because Adriana is telling the so-called Justice Society that Intergang has been in control of their land for years and nobody's ever heard of the Justice Society until now. But once Black Adam shows up, they come here to go after him. And realistically speaking, he hasn't done anything. Now they have access to information that people don't have, and apparently he did something some years ago, and he wasn't resting in it. He was actually imprisoned. But again, he hasn't done anything yet. But they want to just preemptively go after him because that's what Amanda Waller sent them to do. Again, confusing as I keep saying. So after they end up deciding that they will work together to get the boy back, they go to the Intergang base, and while Hawkman is trying to make a plan for them to infiltrate, he turns around, Black Adam's gone, and he just starts obliterating the base, taking out anybody, killing all that who could get in his way. And again, as I say, it's really freaking funny and cool to watch him doing this. It would have been much better if he was a villain, but I'm just saying it looks good seeing him doing it. When they do get to the point now that they go to Ammon, Ishmael is holding him hostage there, and of course he reveals that he is the last descendant of the evil king and Acton, and he wants his rightful place on the throne because apparently you can't just let it go after thousands of years. No, you seem to want to drag everybody down into your madness. So Adriana agrees to give him the crown in exchange for her son's life, and I don't understand the reasoning in this also, because why were they just allowing this woman to make up the rules and demand what she wants to do? This man wants an evil artifact to do evil things. You could have just taken the crown, sent it off to wherever it was, go in there with your super abilities and save the child. But for some reason, you are allowing her to dictate the fact that, she's going to hold on to the crown. She's going to decide what she's going to do. She's going to do this. And you're all just standing there like, well, okay, we're just going to leave it to you. All right. So when she decides to trade the crown now, she trades the crown to him. Ishmael decides to surprise, go back on his word and attempts to shoot the boy in his head. I mean, yes, he's annoying, but that's still pretty messed up. Black Adam races in, he saves him, but his powers go out of control. He kills Ishmael, and he injures Ammon in the process. It's not serious, but it just slightly injures him. And then he because he's all guilt-ridden and thing, he goes back to wherever he has to go back, and it's revealed that the actual hero of Kandak wasn't Death Adam, but his son Horut, right? And Horut got the powers and became the champion. But then after, for some unknown reason I can't understand, all this time of fighting against the evil king, when he could have just gone in there and dealt with him, but he's been fighting against him for a little while, and the king realizes, he's invincible. He sends assassins after Horut's family, which is his father and mother. To that, the father is actual Death Adam. And Horut comes back and finds him there dying and gives him the power that was bestowed onto him by the wizards in order to save his life. I don't know if you could just give away that kind of power that easily. That doesn't seem to make sense. I don't think that's how it works, but he gives him the power. And as he gives him the power, an arrow kills Horut right then and there. So apparently they were just waiting for that one moment. I don't know who that very smart assassin was, but apparently that person was waiting for that one moment and kills him. When Horut dies, Death Adam goes on a rampage, kills the soldiers, goes to the palace and kills the evil king. The council of wizards bring him before them. I mean, you could have stopped him from getting the powers in the first place, but for some reason they bring him before him and they attempt to imprison him. He kills all of them except for the last remaining wizard who who decided to imprison him. That's the same one, well, Shazam, the same one who gives Billy Batson his powers. Again, as I say, this would have made much more sense had they gone with the original story for Death Adam, and then you would have actually had reason, because apparently the only thing he's really guilty of is becoming emotionally unstable when his son and wife were murdered, and that's what he did. He went for revenge. Any normal person would, regardless of what happened. I'm just saying. It's not to say he started to rule the empire and decided he wanted to go out and conquer other lands in order to bring peace and the normal I'm a villain sort of speech kind of thing that you would come to expect. But he wasn't doing any of that. But for some reason they just decided that, you know what, let's just do that because he got angry and emotional. So after that, now he decides that, in present day that he's going to relinquish his power. He says the words, and then, Justice Society hands him over to this secret underwater task force X black site in Antarctica for some stupid reason. But it turns out that Mr. Ishmael wanted Black Adam to kill him so he could go to hell while he was wearing the crown. And then some demons, they would instill him with the power, and they did, and he comes back as Super Satan. I kid you not, he came back as Super Satan. That's it. And he looks very satanic, and he's hovering around and destroying stuff and all of that. So the Justice Society decides that they're going to have to go and fight him. But throughout the whole movie, Dr. Fate has been talking about, he had a vision, and he see that he told Hawkman that he saw that he was going to die. But so he decides to stop all of them with a magical barrier, and he says it doesn't that the only way to stop Hawkman from dying is if he sacrifices himself. And it's kind of lackluster. He puts up a barely interesting fight, and while he's doing that, he's trying to astral project to Black Adam in the site, and he tells him that that they're going to need his help. He breaks out, has this fight thing, and the whole thing is done for the sole purpose so you could see Rock hitting some people, some two slap here and there, and that's about it. Then he tries to swim out from water in Antarctica that would freeze and kill him instantly, but it doesn't. While all of this is happening, the annoying little boy and his mother and the rest of them decide that they're going to try to lead the people of Kandak in a revolution. And while Super Satan is there, he raises an army of undead zombie warriors that are apparently so ridiculously stupid and so ridiculously weak that a child and a woman swinging a pipe and a fat guy who drives a van could easily mow them down and beat them, and then other people show up and it's pretty simple. What kind of army are you raising? You could have raised some actual badass demons spawned from the underworld, but no, you don't. So while Dr. Fate is fighting him off there, he does the sacrificial movement and he gets impaled and dies. It would have been much more meaningful had he actually died, like he was, because he kind of just gives up at the end, and it's just like, well, just impale me and done. But it would have been better if he was like actually struggling to protect them, and then it breaks through and then you would have get a little more heroic ending out of it, but it doesn't. So anyway, Black Adam breaks out and the thing floats in some water, kind of dies or some visionary thing, comes back, goes off there to help them. Hawkman is fighting Super Satan. His mace turns into an axe, and they're all doing all of this and one and the other. While all of this is going on, Black Adam shows up. He and Super Satan have this little smackdown there. It's not bad, it's not fantastic, but it's not bad. The Justice Society are helping as best they could, but again, as I say, they kind of pretty much useless in the end. Black Adam ends up using lightning to very, very efficiently, and I would say very, very well done, fry Super Satan down to his bones, completely destroying him. It was actually pretty good to see that, but again, would have been better if they'd done it, but we get what we get. After that, Justice Society agrees that they're going to leave Black Adam alone. He says okay, and the annoying little boy and his mother ask Black Adam if he's going to take on his rightful role as conduct protector. He says yes, but then he destroys the old throne that the king has, saying that it's time for a change, and he decides to adopt a new name of Black Adam. In the mid-credit scene now, Amanda Waller confronts, she communicates with Black Adam and tells him that Kandak is now his prison. He mustn't leave there. If he does, she will have to send somebody she'll have to call in a favor to deal with him, and he's all that nobody on this planet is as powerful as I am. Then all of a sudden something lands there. We see it's Superman, and he's there, and he tells Black Adam that that we should talk. Now this movie, as I said, is confusing. It would have gone over a whole lot better had they actually stuck to the original origin story, and if they had Captain Atom in it, Captain Marvel, in it, then these two could have played off of each other. You would have gotten a really interesting, really cool, magical battle out of it, and then you could have introduced a big bad that they had to work together to fight the Justice. The Justice Society could have also been there. They would have got in there and had to do things. It could have been done better. Even the way that Superman arrived in the end was really good to see Henry Cavill back as Superman. It could have been handled a little better. Like perhaps Waller could have sent in some a few people to try and take out Black Adam. He takes them out easily, and then there's one guy left, and right before he kills him, Superman shows up. It could have just been like, he shoots the lightning, and then bam, he shows up, and then Black Adam is a little shocked by who could do it, and you see then you get the reveal of the S, and then you hear him say, Black Adam, we need to talk. That would have gone over a lot better and actually made the movie a little more enjoyable. So I could understand where the fans are coming from, where they like the action scenes and getting to see all the fighting. I think it does look good. It is funny at times to see Black Adam doing this thing. Also, Rock, I think had he been a villain, it would have been a chance to get the Rock to actually play a different role, because in pretty much every role he plays is kind of always the same person. A little difference here and there, but pretty much always the same person, and that is kind of a letdown when it comes to him overall. But that's sort of what it done, because had he been a villain, would have given Rock a chance to expand, and got a chance to see him actually play a villainous role, and then eventually towards the end he could have become sort of an anti-hero, not a full hero, but an anti-hero, kind of like how Black Adam is right now in the comics. But we didn't get that. Overall, though, movie wasn't terrible. It was just very confusing, and it needed some changes. But my final rating for Black Adam, I will give it 2.1 out of 5. If you want to see it, fine. But I think that the story overall kind of cripples this show and kind of cripples this movie, and that's where it really loses some of what it's supposed to do there. That's my review for now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, please hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell. Be notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.